A very good evening to you all, and many thanks for joining us here on Rwanda Television. We hope you had yourselves a very productive day. Now, at top of our edition tonight, these are our headlines. Prime Minister Dr. Edward Ngirente has attended a virtual extraordinary session of the heads of state and government of the Congo Basin Climate Commission on behalf of His Excellency Paul Kagame. The First Lady of the Republic of Rwanda, Her Excellency Jeannette Kagame, says that achieving gender equality is one of the factors that will help with the biopharmaceutical research and manufacturing of medicine. Once again, we're very glad to have your company coming to you straight from the heart of Africa, Kigali. My name is Martina Avera. Now, on Tuesday afternoon at Urugwiro Village, President Paul Kagame met with Julia Simpson, President and CEO of the World Travel and Tourism Council, and Arnold Donald, Chair of the World Travel and Tourism Council, who joined virtually. The meeting focused on the ongoing preparations for the upcoming WTTC Global Summit being held in Kigali from the 1st to the 3rd of November 2023, marking the first time the event will take place in Africa. President Paul Kagame also received Sima Bahous, the Executive Director of UN Women, Dr. Natalia Kanem, who is the Executive Director of the United Nations Population Fund, and Gituku Shongwe, UN AIDS Regional Director, and Ozonia Ojielo, the UN Resident Coordinator in Rwanda, who are participating in the 6th Women Deliver Conference taking place here in Kigali. The head of state met with the Chief Minister of Jersey, Christina Moore, who is also in Rwanda for the Women Deliver Conference, for an exchange on opportunities for cooperation in various areas of mutual interest. The president also held a meeting with a Canadian delegation led by Honorable Harjit Saijan, the Minister for International Development and Pacific Economic Development, Canada. Also present was Honorable Merci Len, Canada's Minister for Women, Gender and Youth, as well as Honorable Ariel Kayawaga, Canada's Member of Parliament for London West, who are in Kigali for the Women Deliver Conference. The meeting discussed ongoing cooperation, the security situation on the continent, as well as areas for further collaboration between Rwanda and Canada. Now, the Prime Minister, Dr. Edward Ngirente, has attended a virtual extraordinary session of the heads of state and government of the Congo Basin Climate Commission, CCBC, on behalf of His Excellency President Paul Kagame. The meeting was chaired by the President of the Republic of Congo, His Excellency Denis Sassou Nguesso, and Prime Minister Ngirente noted those in attendance that the Congo Basin is important for environmental protection of efforts globally in the fight against climate change.
Change is a global threat that requires global partnership to be addressed in a sustainable way. In this regard, this meeting presents an excellent opportunity for the Congo Basin Climate Commission member states to further discuss and advance our climate action. Congo Basin that Rwanda is part of is referred to as lungs of the world. It is rich in biological diversity and one of the world's water towers. Congo Basin, together with the two other basins, Amazon of South America and Borno Mekong in Southeast Asia, form the largest carbon sink in the world due to their large tropical forests. They make up to 80% of the world's rainforests and contain 2/3 of its biodiversity.
The Prime Minister also stressed that recognizing the need to protect these ecosystems, Rwanda remains committed to the Paris Agreement on climate change. He said that in that regard, the country has an ambitious target through national determined contributions to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 38% by 2030. He also pointed out that Rwanda also achieved the target of 30% of the national territory covered by forest and that more will be planted. Moving ahead, the First Lady of the Republic of Rwanda, Her Excellency Jeannette Kagame, says that achieving gender equality is one of the factors that will help the biopharmaceutical research and manufacturing of medicine. She said this in a conversation about research being done in medicine, vaccines, and other medical equipment that was presented at the ongoing Women Deliver International Conference in Kigali. We have more.
And I would keep telling them how we are all facing the same issues. It's always...
In this meeting, it was explained that the number of women doing research in science, the pharmaceutical industry, vaccines, and other medical devices is lower than that of men. This is mainly due to the fact that the number of women studying science is still low, and those who study it are not guaranteed to get a job. Aneto Okeke, the representative of the site of the German pharmaceutical and vaccine company BioNTech in Rwanda, says around the workplace that the workers are mostly women who are very qualified.
In BioNTech, we've been able to have diversity as our key goal, and globally our diversity is, the percentage of women is above 50%, and currently even in Rwanda, the percentage of women in the workforce is 50%. We have not looked at different roles. I felt there's a role meant for a man and there's a role meant for a woman. So now that we're here, we look at a role whereby people can qualify for that role. We have women as construction managers. We have women as facility managers. And this drives the encouragement that any young female engineer in the university can see that and know that there's a role for me to play.
Rwanda's Minister of Health, Dr. Saben Sanzimana, says that increasing the number of women studying science and building adequate infrastructure to support them is one of the ways to develop the pharmaceutical, vaccine, and medical equipment industry.
In science, the thing you see by manufacturing, from microscope through manufacturing to human body, it takes time. It can even take hundreds of years. But the cost to not doing it is very, very high. So starting now, it's important, and having that patience to see that it's evolving, it's happening, is also critical. You can go to the highest levels of spending nights and days in the lab without being compromised because you're a woman, because you're a young girl. So those are the factors we need really, really to put in place. Diseases affecting men and women differently. Let me take two examples, like cervical cancer. It's a disease. It's actually an important one that is affecting many, many women and girls currently. As we plan to eliminate cervical cancer among women and girls, it shouldn't be an issue of women and girls. It should be an issue of all of us. And should be the same as we work together to also address the issue of prostate cancer, which is another specific issue. But what affects women affects men equally, and addressing it has to be a collective effort.
In her speech, the First Lady of the Republic of Rwanda, Her Excellency Jeannette Kagame, praised the great contribution made by women during the COVID-19 pandemic, and they are also making a great contribution in terms of the industry that manufactures medicines, vaccines, and medical equipment these days.
As women assisted in the creation, production, and unrolling of a vaccine that should have taken a decade of efforts in under a year. These women saved lives, protected our economy, and watched over our communities while carrying the additional burdens, domestic, familial, or social, that unjustly compounded on them in times of crisis. The critical role of biopharmaceutical research and manufacturing in improving women's health cannot be overstated. Through our collective efforts, we can strengthen our women's involvement in biopharmaceutical research and manufacturing. It's essential, logical, deserved, and highly overdue that women should have a seat at the table when decisions are made regarding their health care.
Her Excellency Jeannette Kagame expressed that there is hope that in the near future, equality will be fully achieved if the current pace continues. As announced in this conference, one of the creators of the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine is a woman who continues to participate in various researches. Gender equality is one of the ways to help find solutions in the field of health that includes finding drugs to treat various cancers and other serious diseases. Currently, the African continent contributes only 2% of the world's scientific research. This issue should also be taken into account in order to eliminate the gender gap. Not moving far from the health sector, some of the feminist activists point out that no woman should lose her life to cervical cancer where there are tools to prevent it. They call on countries to enforce the immunization program to eligible people in order to eliminate cervical cancer. Olibnete has more.
Salome Agalo from Kenya survived cancer 3 times, and she has been living with HIV for 24 years. She says that after knowing that she had cervical cancer, it was hard to move on with life, but later on, she chose to start treatment, and now she's cancer-free. Salome calls on women to attend screening programs.
Are you seated here, and you are a woman, and you have not been screened for cervical cancer? Can I shock you? In 2007, when I was told I had cervical cancer, I did not have any symptom. Please let us not wait for symptoms. Sometimes they are not there. You have a space where you're coming from. To speak and tell a woman in your life, please go and get screened. And if you're a woman, do it and get that experience. We are here in solidarity, all of us. Yeah, we are holding hands in solidarity to make this possible. It would be very sad if we sit here and go back and not implement what we are learning from this conference. So what are you going to do about this after hearing my story? What solution are you going to offer out there?
The global HPV vaccine 1 stands at 21% and 15% for HPV 2. Some of the feminist activists emphasize that no woman should lose her life to cervical cancer while there are programs in place to prevent it.
Where are these girls? Why are we not reaching them? Because we are not at 100% even for the HPV dose 1. So where are these girls? Why are we not reaching them? Are they part of the girls that have the suppressed immunity? How do we collaborate with HIV programs because of confidential issues to ensure that they still get the 3 doses? These girls that we are missing, are they experiencing gender and social barriers? How do we collaborate with the Ministry of Gender? How do we collaborate with the CSOs? How do we collaborate with the local people, the community gatekeepers? I think what COVID taught us is how to innovate. We cannot we cannot continue implementing programs how we were implementing before. So let us look at opportunities.
In Rwanda, above 93% of eligible girls have already received the HPV vaccine. The government is now piloting a screen and treat program to catch lesions before they become cancerous, as Dr. Uwinyindi François, the division manager of NCDs at the Rwanda Biomedical Center, explains.
We have achieved the first target, but again, this is not the end. I think it's a stepping stone towards really having, a good program. And now we are putting much efforts in also having a good HPV screening program, but also building a strong cervical cancer treatment program to ensure that really we also achieve the remaining 2 pillars. Having a good program, this requires a whole of government approach, but also a whole of society approach to ensure that we are all really working together, making synergies, and I think it's possible.
Cervical cancer is the 4th most common cancer among women globally. In 2020, an estimated 604,000 new cases were recorded. The first HPV vaccines became available in 2006. In 2022, the World Health Organization advised to switching to a single dose, which they say delivers solid protection against the human papillomavirus. Olive Nete, RTV News.
Thank you, Olive Nete, for that report. Now, on the second day of the Women Deliver Conference on Gender Equality, private sector practitioners highlighted the role of women in economic development, especially on the African continent. Adam Squizera has more.
On panel discussion, which reiterated on the role of private sector on the coalition of reproductive justice in business. The coordinator of the United Nations in Rwanda, Ozonia Matthew Ogiello, highlighted the role of women while being given full access in financial management and business as one of the pillars of the development that the world needs, especially in the African continent.
For all of us who are in this room, who work in the development space, private sector agencies that see the possibilities between development and profit and make those connections for social and economic transformation, it's all about hope. So we cannot be dismayed. It's our energies, it's our capacities, it's our resilience that allows us to push forward to ensure that no one will be left behind.
Dr. Amani Asfold, the president of African Business Council, called on the private sector to collaborate with the governments of their countries to participate in the development of women in social and business sector.
We need to invest in women's health. So as ABC, Africa Business Council, is established as an institution of African Union, including SMEs, women and youth, our membership includes all the REX business councils, like COMESA Business Council, SADC Business Council, East Africa Chambers of Commerce, West Africa Chambers of Commerce, Pan-African Chambers of Commerce, Union of Industries, Manufacturers Associations, SMEs, women, youth, so name it. So this is the real core of the voice of the private sector of the continent. So Africa Business Council is interested to see how we build the socially conscious companies in Africa and how businesses are responsible to address human rights of their employees, of the suppliers, of the customers alike. And Africa's socio-economic challenges cannot really be solved by the governments alone. It's a partnership with the African business, with the Africa private sector, with civil society, with academia.
Various panelists in this session also pointed out the role of fair justice in the provision of competitive tenders by women as one of the ways to improve the private sector as a whole. Adams Kwizera, RTV News.
The Prime Minister, Dr. Edward Ngirente, has held a meeting with officials from the International Monetary Fund. Discussions between the dignitaries focused on the good cooperation that exists between Rwanda and the fund.
We are in the end of our staff visit, a short visit to Rwanda, the country team and the group of fiscal experts. We see that this is preparatory visit for the second review on the IMF supported program, which will take place in October. During this week in the country, we had excellent preparation from the Rwanda team, from the MINECOFIN, in our colleagues, and I think believe that it will pave the way for successful completion of the second review later this year, release of additional funding under the climate support finance from the IMF. We also understand that Rwanda has been faced by shock related to the floods and natural disaster. We are discussing now, together with our colleagues from the Rwanda team, how IMF can support that. We stand ready to provide any necessary assistance. That was also the topic of our discussion with the Prime Minister. We believe we are on the same page and looking forward to a successful review in the fall of this year.
The UK's Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office Director for Education, Gender and Equality, Alicia Herbert, is in Rwanda attending the ongoing Women Deliver Summit. On the second day of her visit, Alicia visited the Building Learning Foundations program to observe a girls' club's activity at GS Murambuturo here in Kigali.
Happening here in Kigali and across the country, so it's great to be here a second time. And this is the second time I'm looking at our work on education as well, the work that the British government is doing with the Rwandan government and a range of stakeholders. And there's clearly been progress since the last time I was here, and that's really, really good to see. Progress in terms of the ability of children to communicate in English and to learn in English as a medium of instruction. And indeed, from what I saw today as well, in terms of the girls' clubs, just the growth and the confidence of young people, and to talk about the situations which are affecting them, affecting their lives, and the kind of strategies and coping mechanisms that they have been taught and they're exchanging with each other in order to deal with those situations.
Girls' clubs are designed to provide a space to tackle barriers specific to girls, like developing life skills, empowering girls and boys to make informed decisions about school and their future, as well as building confidence, self-esteem, and personal resilience. Since 2021, BLF has piloted girls' clubs in 42 schools across 10 districts here in Rwanda. It is planned that after the pilot and after the girls' club curriculum has been finalized, the approach will be scaled up for all schools in Rwanda as part of a whole school approach to gender. Now moving on, Zigama Credit and Savings Society, Zigama CSS, has announced a net profit of 22.8 billion Rwandan francs for the year 2022. It is in a case increase from 17.7 billion francs recorded as net profit in 2021. The Minister of Defense, Honorable Juvenal Marizamunda, presided over the 38th General Assembly of the cooperative. Also in attendance were Honorable Alfred Gassana, the Minister of Interior, Honorable Dr. Emmanuel Udirashebuja, the Minister of Justice, Lieutenant General Mubarak Muganga, the Chief of Defense Staff, along with service chiefs, head of security organs, and a chosen group of members. Dr. James Ndahiro, the Chairman of the Board of Directors of Zigama CSS, noted that the Assembly conveyed its appreciation for the fact that 97% of the cooperative members have adopted digital banking as opposed to waiting in queues at the cashiers.
Na banki irashyiramo ingufu kugira ngo serivisi nyinshi izitange ikoresha ikoranabuhanga.
We are actively advocating for enhanced online services within our bank, enabling members to conveniently access a wide range of services using their mobile phones. Additionally, the meeting evaluated the significance of enhancing the well-being of junior members in the bank. As a result, a committee was formed, tasked with delivering a comprehensive report within 1 month outlining actionable steps to enhance their quality of life.
Zigama CSS is a financial cooperative with membership drawn mainly from security organs, namely the Rwanda Defense Force, Rwanda National Police, Rwanda Correctional Services, the National Intelligence and Security Service, the Rwanda Investigation Bureau, and Rwanda Forensics Laboratory. Now, let us inform you that students and local residents in Rubavu district of the Western Province are commending the fact that a high-tech lab has been set up by University of Tourism, Technology and Business Studies, Rubavu branch, because of the opportunities such as facilities being open for the students.
This lab will play a major role for us as students at the UTB because it will help us enhance our IT skills and also our business skill. And we currently doing the web design. And as you can see, today is the opening of the lab. We were doing graphic design, and I was able to do a portfolio. I did a portfolio. I designed a portfolio, which is the UI, the user interface, that our user can be able to see. So as you can see on my stream, I have my home, about main skill, contact, and the Facebook, and I have my logo. So as an entrepreneur, a graphic designer, I designed my portfolio where my clients can go on the internet and hire me or know about me, know my skills, know about me, and they can be able to contact me.
The university's staff have noted that the lab is helping to address some of the challenges that students face here in Rwanda and beyond.
One of the things that we face in Rwanda is that young people don't have the opportunity to explore technology. Often in high school they have a few rather old computers. Some high schools in Kigali are better set up, but you will find the rural high schools that you find back in the districts lacking the level of technology that we now have with this STEM Power project. So we are inviting high schoolers from all over Rubavu district and all neighboring districts, and I'm going to say this too. Just behind me, there is a border. There's another big city over that border. I want to invite every child and youth to come from Goma and to take part in the learning process here, the excitement of learning about technology and understanding the potential for technology to make a difference, not in individual lives, not only in communities, but in nations.
Israel's ambassador to Rwanda said that he's proud that his country is partnering with Rwanda in the promotion of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics in the education sector countrywide.
This center should be open 24/7, and it should serve the community also in the evenings whenever it's possible. So people can come benefit from a computer, from a curricula, and learn and educate themselves.
On behalf of the news production team and I, we would like to thank you for sticking with us on RTV News. My name is Martina Abera. Have a great night.